Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Well, how do we describe the emotions assailing us this past week? Despair and hope over the threats and possibilities that surround a lurching Israeli government, hope and resignation and profound uncertainty regarding major activities in American federal and state courts. Anger and hope and despair over the bloody war being waged by Russia against Ukraine. So how do we actually respond when a friend asks us, "Hey, how are you doing?" How am I doing? It's actually too difficult to describe quickly. Let's take refuge in our Sedra. Study of the Torah can really bring healing to our souls. The Sedra this week is Shelach Lecha, Numbers 13:1 and following. Middle of the book of Numbers, great stories there. Sadly, we aren't going to find much consolation in this particular Sedra. Instead, we read the account of the 12 spies who were sent into Canaan to determine the richness of the land and the sturdiness of the defenses that the people living in the land had erected. 10 spies bring back horrific images, contrasts of a rich land dominated by ferocious giants. They cried out to all who were listening, "We were like grasshoppers to them," and we ended up feeling that way about ourselves. Two of the spies also spoke of the richness of the land and of the sturdiness of Canaan's homeland security operation. But they concluded that because they go with the approval and support of God, the Israelites will prevail. But the Israelites panicked. They weep and wail at what they consider to be their preordained destruction. To put it colloquially, we're toast. Why did we ever leave Egypt? God is furious. How long will this people spurn me? God declares the divine intention of wiping out the people on the spot. Moses pleads on behalf of the people. God then offers a powerful phrase, which, by the way, is echoed in our High Holy Day liturgy, Salachti kidvarecha. Okay, I have pardoned as you have asked. But instead of the expected rapid move through the wilderness from Egypt to the promised land, the journey will now last until almost all of those who exited Egypt will have died. A journey of weeks will now take 40 years. We failed God when we built the golden calf, okay? But after much suffering, the people could move forward with God. But this time is different. When the people abandon all trust in God's promises, the penalty was going to be shatteringly painful. Let's be clear. The 12 spies all saw the same thing. They all saw what their eyes had guaranteed were facts about the land. They all saw rich and fertile fields. They also all saw enemy soldiers who were gigantic in size and heavily armed. They all carried with them memories of God's saving power at the Red Sea. They all saw the same facts. But the truths that emerged from those facts were dramatically different. 10 believed that disaster awaited. 2 believed that God's promises would be fulfilled. And the people abandoned all hope. I just received a copy of a book entitled These Truths We Hold, Judaism in an Age of Truthiness. These Truths We Hold, Judaism in the Age of Truthiness. The book looks something like this. One of the editors of the book, published by the CCR Press, is the new interim dean of the Hebrew College Los Angeles campus, Professor Joshua Garroway. For the sake of full disclosure, Josh Garroway is a friend of mine and a master scholar and a master teacher. So, what is truth? How does truth interact with faith? Is there such a thing as a moral truth? Is there such a thing as absolute truth? Are there ethical considerations which can push aside truth claims? Are truth and fact synonymous? Is a scientific fact just another breed of truth? In a bold move, the book, These Truths We Hold, begins with a forthright analysis of truth within the Torah by Dr. Mark Brettler, major scholar. Biblical scholars who immerse themselves in the study of the origins of the biblical text often conclude that not everything written in the Bible by the scribes can be described as literal truth. There are moral truths, there are ethical truths, there are religious truths, there are legal truths, there are divine truths, but many of these were not even close to being historical truths. Truths can be packaged so as to be selective and self-serving. Truths can be raised up on the banner of absolute certainty. Truths can be expressed through mystery, even numerology. Truths can be contingent. Interesting. Truths can be contingent upon the needs of a given era. Truths can fade in and out of favor. Those 10 spies weren't lying. They were refracting external realities through their own memories, needs, experiences, joys, fears. The other 2 spies should not be celebrated because they saw things the way they should be seen. No. One of those 2 spies was Joshua, and Joshua certainly understood what it is that he should perceive to be true about the land. He was, after all, an insider, part of the home team. His reality was that God would lead the people forward, and so that's how he saw the facts on the ground. As we grapple with the myriad of our contemporary concerns, we need to do better than just to yell across the battle lines, but that's not true. Because that statement, have to listen, that statement doesn't have as much determinative content as we would like to believe. It's good to remember that yelling, condemning, mocking, and labeling don't make one statement truer than another statement. All it really succeeds in doing is raising our blood pressure and building walls of misunderstanding taller and thicker than ever before. Be careful with our language. Lying can be virtuous. Expressing in prayer thoughts that we do not hold to be true can, in fact, lift us up. We repeat and celebrate Daniel Patrick Moynihan's famous statement, "You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But my friend, there is much in that statement that is flawed. So how do we move forward in these contentious times? First, read Professor Garroway's book. Then, take some time to think through what we actually mean when we call something truthful. Then do the best that we can to apply analytical reasoning to our thoughts and to our fact claims. And be willing to say that sometimes current needs can push aside an unshakable devotion to absolute truth, to undeniable facts. And despite our founding parents, not all truths are self-evident. And finally, learn how to listen. Learn how to separate the grain from the chaff. What we do with truth, what we do with facts, will shape the future of our world. Not how we define truth, not how we categorize facts. That's what the two spies tried to do. They failed. But that doesn't mean that we might not just succeed. Could give it a try in these terribly difficult times. Shabbat Shalom. Let's see each other next week. Shabbat Shalom.